I mentioned in a previous video when we were using the Greg Benz Photoshop actions that he had a product called Lumenzia. And that is a paid-for product that creates luminosity masks for you. Now, it doesn't use channels. It sort of simulates it, but it has a lot of improvements over a basic luminosity mask. So, it's a big product. It has a lot of features. We won't be able to go into them, but I wanted to give you a little preview. Now, Greg Benz is not the only one that has a product like that. There's one from Tony Kuiper, and there are many others. I have Tony's and Greg's resource information up at the front of the presentation so you can take a look at their products. So it's an add-on. So I go to Extensions and click on Lumenzia, and you get this new panel that has a lot of stuff in it. This square here is all about luminosity masking. So that's where we're going to start. On this photo here, I like this photo, but I wish this part of the sky was lighter. I could try to paint it in lighter or try to make a selection. The problem is these little poofy clouds. It is going to be difficult to paint or try to hand select this part of the sky. So this is a perfect example where a luminosity mask would come in handy. So these are the dark, medium, and light masks, and then the dark midtones. So let's check those out and see what it creates for us. Now, you'll notice that a bunch of stuff happened down here. Without getting into a lot of details, I said he wasn't using the channel masks. He's not. He's simulating those by doing actions inside of Photoshop, which gives you some more flexibility. But this is pretty good in that, remember, black conceals, white reveals. So this is all blacked out, and this is a nice white here would be affected by any adjustment we made. Unfortunately, this is also, and you can never get a perfect mask, but this is the part that I'm interested in. So I'm going to use this mask, and I'll show you how we're going to fix this part when it adjusts for it. Okay, so now that I've selected that, I can say I want to do a brightness contrast on that. So if you look down here, it created a brightness contrast adjustment layer, and if we look at the mask here, I'll click on it, you can see it attached that mask to it. If I double click here, and I want to brighten up the areas, so I would bring this up, bring this up, bring this up. Okay, that looks pretty good. And you can see that that part of the sky is brighter, but it also had affected these other parts. Now here's a trick that you can use no matter what product you're using, whether you're using channel mask or creating your own, and that is groups. So let's create a group here, and let's make sure that this layer is in there. Now that my adjustments inside this group, you can click on the down arrow here and see it's inside the group. One of the things I could do is I could go into this mask and adjust it, paint directly on the mask to correct the parts that I want original darkness. However, I don't suggest doing that because it's a destructive process. If you want to go back and use that mask, it would be difficult. But here on the group, you can add its own layer mask. So we have a white layer, and so it reveals everything, but I want to paint all this stuff out except that edge, which is masked out very nice on the luminosity mask. So I'm going to grab a brush here, and I'm going to reverse my colors. So I'm painting on this mask with a black brush, and let me make it a little larger. What I like to do when I do that, and you can see I'm painting some of that lightness effects out, is I like to kind of go over the edges, and then on the mask itself, at Alt click, I just paint that in because I really don't need to see what's happening there. And it's faster this way. So what I'm doing is painting out the brightening that went on down in that lower darker area. Okay, do that right there. Now let's see what we look like. Okay, so let's look at it now. I have the lighter sky, but this remains the same. So I have my, let's turn this mask off. You can see what it looked like without that group mask that I created. Here's what it looks like now. And here's what it looks like with that perfect edge in place and lightening up this part of the photo. Okay, that's it. There's plenty of more. There's a big learning curve with Lumenzia, but Greg does have a ton of great videos to go over. And again, like the free versions, the channel masks and the color range picker and all that, this is just another tool that you can use to help create adjustments to your photos. Thank you.